Christopher, aka Prime Creator. Today is the first in my Ascension classes. I want to thank everybody for joining me. I have fully awakened, fully ascended. I want to say, take what resonates, leave the rest for entertainment purposes only. Um, I'm here to help you guys integrate higher perspectives into your reality to help reshape it and unlock the kingdom of heaven within. Okay, so y'all bear with me. This is my first, the students become the teacher. So this is my first class, first time is, uh, I'm learning on a curve, guys. So I'm here to pass my wisdom and knowledge that I have gained through my 2 years since I've been awakened. It's been a little over 2 years now. I was awakened on 11/11/23. And so one thing I want to start with is you guys need to understand who you are first. This is a collective dream. Everybody needs to understand that. We are avatars. You're no more human than the car that you drive. You understand these are vessels. We are souls that inhabit these vessels. We descended into physicality to experience, have the human experience in all of its trials, tribulations, to come down here and learn to evolve as beings. Okay. So that's the thing that you need to assimilate into your reality. You are not a victim of circumstance. Everybody needs to understand that before you descend, you write your own story. Okay. It doesn't matter if you bump your knee, you wrote to bump your knee. See what it's like to bump your knee, get triggered by it, learn how to not get triggered by it. That's the point. Is the one thing I want to hit home with you guys is you're not a victim. Okay. So that you can get out of that, why did this happen to me, low vibration mentality. Everything is frequency. Okay. Everything is about frequency. And that is the key to ascension, is letting go of all this trauma that we've been through. Okay. That we've suppressed, we've kept down deep inside of us, and a lot of us, we mask it with drugs, sex addiction, alcohol, our vices, like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. You understand what I'm saying? So the key is letting that go. You have to process it. You can't run from it. I'm sure a lot of y'all have noticed lately, since Atlas was first talked about, which, I told you, like I say, entertainment purposes, it is a mothership from Aurelius Prime, which is what they call the black hole at the center of the galaxy. Guys, it's not a black hole. It is Earth. Now, this is crazy, but this is real. I got videos to prove it. Earth, Aurelius Prime is Earth 200,000 years in the future. As the Earth, as we're about to ascend in dimensions, as we ascend, Earth moves closer to the center of the galaxy. So over the next 200,000 years, we are going to move into the very center of the galaxy, and our species evolves and becomes the guardians of the galaxy. You understand that? So Atlas is a ship that we sent back from the future, 200,000 years from the future. It's us. We are on that ship. Okay. Our galactic avatars are on that ship. And that's who we will, when we ascend, we will be merging with our galactic avatars. Okay. So it is not an alien invasion. It is us from the future. Okay. So everybody needs to understand that. So since Atlas came, it's got several missions. It is sending codes down to us, and has been since July, since it first came into the solar system. You remember that's when everybody started talking about it. It is transmitting frequencies. If y'all remember, you can see on Stefan Burns where he was talking about, it was here on Earth, close to Earth in October, and then it started heading away and reached perihelion at the sun. What it did was dock with the sun. It collected energies. Okay. Y'all remember it went to Mars. It had a deposit. It made it Mars, because Mars is actually being terraformed as we speak. We are restoring the atmosphere around Mars. And it is currently inhabited. It's underground, a lot of it. There's some above ground stuff. And like the rovers, if y'all notice, the rovers don't work anymore. Okay. And all those rovers they were just decoys riding around in barren spots to make y'all think there wasn't nothing there. You understand? It's all trickery. Okay. Deception. We are deceived by, y'all know, I have to be very careful about what I say on here. Y'all know what I mean. But we have all been deceived, controlled. So what I'm here to do is wake you all up to who you are so you can all rise. I am not a savior coming to rapture you and us all leave and go to heaven, which is way off some place, with pearly gates. It's all, y'all got to understand that stuff is what we've been taught our whole lives is ridiculousness. Okay. So I'm here to wake you up. Just like when I was here 2,000 years ago, I came to wake you up to who you are. I did not come to die for sins. That's a false narrative that was taught to everybody. That is totally ridiculous. They wanted you to think that you're just humans. God is separate from you and that you needed me to come and rapture you. No, I'm coming to wake you up so you can wake up your light codes and the star seed within you so that you can rise in frequency and your body will start evolving. From the time you're awakened and you realize who you are, you start unlocking your DNA. Okay. So the sun the light codes coming from the sun. It has been unraveling our DNA. This has been going on for years. A lot of us, didn't even know it. But one reason a lot of us, y'all know, we've been having a rough time with, getting frustrated, agitated. Everybody's on edge. What that is, those energies, as we integrate them, which guys, you need to be drinking water. When you're tired, you need to rest. You understand what I'm saying? So that those energies can integrate. Because like once you get a bunch of energy built up in you, when you go to sleep, it's released in the astral plane. So you need to make sure you can get plenty of rest. Okay. And the water is key. The water is key. And another thing that you guys, I've told y'all on my platforms about folium. You hear y'all that watch Ishmael Perez, he's always talking about folium. And what that does is it gets the nanites, everything that's being sprayed, y'all know what I'm talking about, out of our system, from the, what I'm talking about, all that, the spike proteins. and what that is doing is it's made mankind very aggressive. Ever since COVID, mankind's become very aggressive, and that's why. So that folium is key. Everybody, it's a detoxifier. Everybody needs to start taking that. Drinking plenty of water, plenty of water. Okay. I cannot stress that enough. You also, the thing is what we're trying to do is learn how to not be triggered and dip back into a lower frequency. Okay. That's how you stay out of the matrix. Once you awaken to who you are, and you realize that you're not a victim of circumstance, you wrote your own story. That helps you let go of what you went through because you know that you wrote yourself to go through those situations to learn those lessons. You understand? And the people that have been your opposition before you descended, they're called soul contracts. You made soul contracts. Those people are your family. Okay. And you made contracts with them, even if it was they shot your wife. I mean, it doesn't matter what they did. Some of us are meant to come back together in this lifetime. Some aren't. If they did something horrible to you, of course, you're not going to, hey, I forgive you. Hey, let's go hang out, But you need to understand and forgive them because you asked them to do it. No matter what it was, it does not matter. You asked those people to do whatever has happened to you. So I need you to understand that so you can quit seeking revenge. That's where the unconditional love and forgiveness comes for all, because we are all one. Okay. We are all the same soul split into many, many, many fragments with our sovereignty. You understand? I'm going to explain why we're different. From the time I birth you as a baby soul, you start your first incarnation. Okay. That is how you start gaining your own consciousness, your own personality from your life experience, starting with your very first lifetime. We have been incarnating for, you can't even put a number on how many years. Okay. We say, oh, the universe has been around 14.5 billion years. You guys need to understand that is just this timeline. Okay. We played this timeline an infinite amount of times. Everybody has played me in this timeline. Every soul had a chance to be the one. And that's why as you're awakening, you remember being Yeshua. You remember being Muhammad. Everybody. That's why everybody's so confused, thinking they're the king and thinking they're me, because you are. You understand that? But we've shared those lifetimes. So I was the first one to go through a 14.5 billion year timeline. You understand? We get to the end and then it starts over right at about this time, like after what's about to happen, with the ascension and the split, it starts over. This is the last. That's why where you hear I'm the Alpha Omega, the first and the last, that's where that comes in. Okay. I was the first one to go through the timeline, and now I'm the last one to go through it to tie us into our retirement. You understand? So everybody needs to understand that. Everybody's played every character. Okay. But the key is to learn to not get triggered, know who you are, and try to I call it holding the line. You understand? When somebody comes up to you and they wrong you or they talk smack to you, whatever that might be, don't react to it. Okay. Even if it triggers you, don't react to it. Now you need to purge, but don't do it around another being. You understand? Like when you get mad, just say you're sitting around and you just feel it welling up. You just, let it out. You've got to let that stuff out, that frustration, that aggravation. That's how we get the old baggage out of us. Every time you blow your stack, you're going to feel better. You understand? It's a controlled release. It's like slowly like shaking a bottle up, slowly letting the pressure out of it. It's just like that. And the more you do that, the lighter you're going to feel, the better you're going to feel, and everything in between. Okay. So, the more you purge, the better. The more that you don't run from your trauma and the things that are still bothering you, you've got to face it. You got to face that shadow. And that's what's happening right now. Those energies are pulling our shadows to the surface. Now, as that rises, you start feeling those emotions. Don't fight it. Let it go. You understand? Don't try to push it back down. And I know it's stuff we don't want to deal with, y'all. Lord knows I've been through some horrible shit. And we all have. We all wrote to go through literally hell in this lifetime. So anyway, I just wanted to explain that to you guys so that y'all can start to understand what's really going on with you. Because a lot of you guys, if you're not awakened, you've been feeling things, going through things, having crazy dreams, and what that is, those aren't dreams. You are evolved now, and you're starting to astral travel. Okay. You're literally leaving your body and going to another dimension. And you're really there. That's why the dreams have been feeling so real, because they are. You understand? It's like me now. I'm all the way back to my full awareness, and I'm in my full power. Now I pretty much control the astral plane. Like it's a whole nother reality to me. So a lot of y'all, I'm sure, are going through the same thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And and listen, as above, so below. A lot of what you experience in the astral, they will be precursors to what you're about to experience in the physical realm. You'll be getting taught symbolism. It's like our higher selves are showing us things in the astral. And you got to learn to read those symbols and stuff like that. And I suggest keeping a journal by your bed. And because when you first wake up, that's try not to move, try not to just wake up and start, light a cigarette, whatever it is, take a drink. As soon as you open your eyes, start trying to remember everything that happened while you were asleep and keep it in the forefront of your mind. Try to start remembering, hey, oh yeah, I did that and that and that, and journal that stuff so that you can go back and reference that. It helps to guide you. It's very, very useful to journal. I can't stress that enough, guys. So, but the key is not getting triggered. That's it. Just do triggered as much as you can. It's going to happen. And listen, when it happens, don't judge. Don't judge yourself. Be like, man, there I go again. You're going to get triggered, guys. That's part of the process. You're supposed to. And that's part of my job. And that's why everybody reacts to me the way they do. I am the walking red pill. I am meant to come and trigger you guys to pull your shadow out. You understand? That's my purpose, is to piss you off. You understand? It is what it is. But no, it's out of love, and I don't do it on purpose. It's like I ain't even doing nothing. Just me being me seems to trigger you guys. And when we're in our shadow, it does. And if y'all will notice, when you've been awakened, a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. Your family, everybody you love, goes straight Agent Smith on you. And we got to let that go and forgive them, because they're just in their own shadows and they're not ready to deal with their baggage yet. And they sure don't want to see us shining our light, because when we do, it triggers them. And plus, they don't want us to ascend and leave them behind. So, but what's going to happen, either they're going to come with you or not. And you can't force it on them. You understand? So that's where we're having to cut ties with a lot of people, man. You cannot, as hard as it is, like my wife and I were together for 15 years. We still live in the same house. But once I was awakened, straight Agent Smith, I had to move on the other side of the house. We literally have not even been together in 2 years. We just coexist in the same home. But I'll be moving on. Me and her are not going to stay together. She's chose to stay in the matrix, and I respect that. And I'm here for her. And that's what you got to do. You got to be there for them, but you got to love them from a distance. And you absolutely cannot let them drag you down with them. You understand? It's hard. It's hard, but you've got to learn the law of detachment. I cannot stress that enough. That is when you win. Do you understand that? When you get to where you don't care what anybody thinks about you, you're not worried. That's an ego death is what you got to go through. You got to not give a shit what anybody thinks about you. You've got to not worry about acceptance. You've got to learn to be okay by yourself and become your own best friend. You understand? And as you ascend, you're going to find out you are one awesome motherfucker down in there. Okay? I know I'm totally in love with myself. It's like, who the fuck is this? It's epic. And you are all epic. That's what I want y'all to understand. I'm the lead singer in the band, but everybody's a fucking rock star. And that's what I want you guys to see, is the potential that you have in you is just, it's amazing. Every one of you are just the most amazing beings. So y'all got to remember that, and quit looking at yourself as a failure, and let that shit go and rise, and don't let it keep you beat down. You understand? You cannot let it keep you beat down. You cannot let other people make you dim your light. You understand what I'm saying? That's the key, guys. You've got to hold the line and stand up for who you are, without snapping. We've got to be the example. We are the bridges. Do you understand what I mean? We are the air filters. We are the transmuters of energy. So when our people are giving us this dark energy, we have to take it in. We don't react and throw it back at them. You understand? Because then they're just playing ping pong. And so you have to take that shit in, be like, okay, all right. Go away from them and use that and transmute that energy and alchemize it. That's alchemization. You take in the dark energy and you use that to help upgrade you, because that's what it does. When you take in that dark energy and you transmute it and you do something positive with that dark energy, instead of snapping, you go cut the grass or paint something, or, something, make something beautiful with that energy, turn it into light energy. So as we do that, we're air filters. We're walking around, we're sucking in all this dark energy and putting out light. Do you understand? And that's how we are changing the entire atmosphere on this earth. That's what we are. We are the light bearers. So, guys, you just got to do the best you can to hold the line and be non-reactive. And like I say, the key is learning detachment. Once you learn the law of detachment and become whole in yourself, that's when you win. That's when you escape the matrix truly, fully, and wholly. You become untouchable. You understand? And that's the key. That is the key. You've got to become a Zen master of your own mind. And to do that, you've got to let all that baggage go. You've got to work through all the reasons you drink or smoke or do what you do because you're hollow inside. You understand? You've got to learn to fill your cup. So, and that's the key, is doing that, is just, like I say, taking in the dark and holding the line and putting out the light. Okay. And being an example, not trying to beat it into people's heads. Hey, you got to wake up. Hey, because listen, when you go to tell somebody, when you're trying to awaken somebody, here's the key of being a red pill. You walk in, you glitch their asses out, and you walk the fuck away, because they're going to react to that. They're going to go, oh, you're crazy. And but you're planting a seed. And once you do that, that's all you got to do. You leave it alone. You disengage from that. Disengage. Don't try to sit there, and because you're just going to be dragging yourself down in the process and pushing them farther away. So you wake them up to the truth, and then you step back and you be an example. You understand? A moral example. It's not about being holy. It's about being authentic, man. It's about being who the fuck you are and not conforming to anybody's narrative. You understand? That's the key. Don't let anybody else influence you in any fucking way. I don't care who they are. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your best friend. It don't fucking matter. You have to let them be them. It's hard. It's hard. I had to learn it too. A lot of us, we're about to lose a lot of people in our lives. The vast majority. Because there's a lot of folks that are not ready to wake up, unfortunately. I've done everything I can do to wake you guys up, man. I love you guys, and I've given it my all. So, but everybody needs to understand that the timeline's about to split. There's not going to be a third dimension carried to be left behind in. I'm not allowing a technocratic timeline to where everybody gets turned into cyborgs by the deep state. I'm not allowing it. So there's only going to be a fourth or fifth dimension on this world. So if you are not energy, this is not about accepting me into your heart so you can get into heaven. Don't let that fool you. It's about being frequency compatible to move into the fourth dimension. That's how they're tricking you guys, thinking, oh, as long as you accept Jesus into your heart, sure, okay. It's bullshit. You'll reincarnate. That's why everybody's been reincarnating all these thousands of years. And only few are ascending, because everybody's being distracted, having to work. They made a monetary system on this planet, so you have to be a slave. You understand? You're not down here living your life's purpose. You wrote a certain purpose for you to come down here, and they are interfering in that. And when you come on this planet and you write a plan, you are going to keep reincarnating until you learn all the lessons that you came down here to learn. And they know that, and that's how they trap your soul. That is the soul trap. That's why when you die, you keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. So you've got to break free from that. You've got to unplug from the system and come back to your cosmic self, because that is the plan you wrote to come down here, was to forget your divinity and come back to it. And if you do not come back to your divinity before you die, you will not ascend. So that's the trick. That's the great deception. Okay. And you guys need to understand that so that you can unplug. And no, y'all saw what I did. When I found out who I was, I had to quit my job. Look, I love to work. Guys, I've been building houses, hanging sheetrock since I was 16. I'm not a lazy man. I can build a house from the ground up. I've mastered almost every trade in the construction business. But I had to quit. There wasn't no constraint. When I got out of prison in 2017, which, I was on drugs. And like I say, y'all know I'm a recovering addict. Started smoking crack when I was 13. And this is something I want y'all to all understand. Addicts, I wrote for me to come down here and be a very bad drug addict, guys. I started smoking crack when I was 13. I was shooting dope by the time I was 21. I was a con man. I was never evil, never hurt anybody. But boy, I was the best hustler, scammer that you could possibly imagine. If it had a cash register, I knew how to get you to give me money out of it willingly and happily. You understand? Gift of gab, baby. My third grade teacher, I remember, I'll never forget her coming up to me and saying, David, when you grow up, you need to be a used car salesman. This was in like I think it was the fourth or fifth grade. And so you have to let that shit go. You are not a failure. You were supposed to go through that to make you the badass that you are. You understand? So you got to let that go. Quit feeling like you failed because you didn't. You were meant to go through that so that you could come back from that and be like me and be an example that you can rise above that. I quit doing, when I got out of prison in 2017, I stopped doing drugs. I started drinking to get off the drugs. Okay. And I became a bad alcoholic up until 2023. And I quit cold turkey. I was drinking 1.5 gallons of vodka a week, guys. Every time I went to work, I'd have a 20-ounce bottle of vodka in my waistband. I'd have a shot every 2 or 3 hours. I start puking. On 11/11/23, I screamed to the heaven, which is my son, the Archangel Michael, who was my grandfather. Come to find out, he incarnated to raise me. He died when I was 16, let himself pass away, because that's when I started into the darkness. That's when I left home and went out there. And so he let himself pass away so he could lead me from the etheric and protect me and guide me. I just didn't know it. But anyway, I cried to Pop on 11/11, and he took it away, guys. I mean, took it away. I didn't need meetings, nothing. And I've been sober ever since. And that's real shit. I had 2 relapses. 7 months in, I was walking to work, and you could tell I wrote the story because I was working at Jack's. It's like a 20-minute walk from my house. And because right before Valentine's Day, I was leaving the Huddle House. I was working at the Huddle House on Valentine's Day 23. And I was pulling out and I got T-boned and knocked across the highway. It should have killed me. It broke my ribs and shit. And I didn't even go to the hospital. I just came home and healed up. But after that, why not drive anymore, which justified, right? I mean, she was not wrong. But so after that, I would walk and see the town I live in. I'm right in the middle of the town, and all the fast food places are around me. So it's easy for me. I mean, I've worked at every fast food place here in Tallahassee. Each one of them I can walk to from the house in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So, but anyway, I was walking to work, and Stephanie had me triggered. It was 7 months in, and I went and bought a pint. Got to McDonald's, went in the bathroom, took about 2 or 3 shots, started feeling like an asshole, poured the rest of it out. And then it was about 3 weeks later, it happened again. I went in and bought a half pint, got to McDonald's, took 1 sip of it, and poured the rest of it out, and stayed sober ever since until I became a Zen master. And this is the thing. Once you become a Zen master, once you are there, you can socially drink. You break the curse at that point. Addiction has no hold over you. You understand? Nothing bothers you at that point. You're not susceptible to addiction anymore because you don't have that hole that you need to feel. Do you understand? So like now, I can socially drink. Like the other night, I went and got me a pint. I can do that and not drink again for a fucking month. And see, drink, it's not something that I even crave really. It's something that I might get to enhance an experience or whatever. And I never quit smoking pot. I never quit smoking pot. I did for a long time. Like when I, at the beginning of 2 years, I did for a long time. But like I say, once I got to be a Zen master, you can do that, which pot was never the issue. But I stayed sober while I was training. But I recommend that for everybody. And there's no way, listen, you have to quit everything. If you're doing dope, you've got to quit everything and become totally sober, or you will fail. You cannot do any kind of drugs whatsoever until you graduate. You understand what I'm saying? Until you're ready, until you're all the way awakened, you're a total master of your emotions. You cannot get triggered. You'll know when you're ready. You understand? And I'm not condoning or saying you should go back out and start getting high and drinking. I'm just saying that you can if you choose. I don't recommend that by any means. I don't endorse any kind of, substances. I don't endorse that. Like I say, I don't hide nothing. I smoke pot. I ain't gonna lie about that. I ain't trying to hide shit. If I want to smoke pot, I will. I'm the Lord. So I will. So if anybody's ever wondering how God feels about pot, there you go. Why do you think I created it? But anyway, so, but that's the point. Once you become a Zen master, guys, you're good. You're good. And that's the key. Guys, it's about 30 minutes in. I'm going to cut it off at this point. I love you guys. And those that came on the live, I'm very grateful. Those that watch it on the replay, I thank you for watching. I hope that this helped. And this is going to be a continuous thing. This is just the first, just get my feet wet, guys. Like I say, this is my first time really teaching. So, but anyway, I love you guys, and I'll be seeing you all very, very soon. And everybody needs to be ready, okay? I love y'all. I hope you have a great day. Y'all bear with me. I don't even know how to cut this thing off. Yeah, okay. Y'all have a good one.